welcome to today's lesson. And today we are going to have more activities on the practice lesson. And the topic that we'll be working with is patterns and relationships. Here is the first question. Dino has a cell phone contract with M&T included in his contract. He gets 50 free text messages every month. The table below indicates the number of free text messages he gets per month. Now let's look at the table. All right, again, there is a table with a missing value. Remember, when we have a table, the top part of the table represents the independent variables, which is our x-axis. Then the bottom part represents the dependent variables, which is our y-axis. Now look at the missing value over there. However, when you look at the table, can you see that the number of text messages remains the same for the next 6 months? However, we have a missing value A, something to think about. A, identify the dependent and the independent variable. This question always comes up, by now we know. So we know that our dependent variable, it will come from there, which is the number of free text messages. Then the independent variable will be this one here, which is the months of the year. How many free text messages does Dino get per month? From the given scenario, it is there. We were told that Dino gets 50 free text messages every month. Determine the value of A, the number of text messages he will receive for the month of April. Remember, from the contract, it was said that he will get 50 free text messages every month. So this does not exclude April. So even in April, Dino will still get 50 free text messages. Trevor walks 1,000 meters every morning from his home to school. He discovered that he walks for 140 meters per minute. The table below indicates the relationship between the distance Trevor covers in minutes. We have a table has missing values. So of course we are expecting questions where we'll have to determine those missing values. Suppose Trevor walks at a constant speed. It means it doesn't change. Calculate the missing value A and B. From the given scenario, we know that Trevor walks 140 meters per minute. Even from the table, you can have that. You can look at that. They say time taken. If it's 1 minute, he shall have walked 140 minutes. So this time we are looking for how many, what distance shall he have covered if he walked for 4 minutes. So it's always easier if we use the cross multiplication method in this case. So we have the 4 minutes. Our unknown, it is this side. In this case, our unknown, we can replace it with A, which is what we are looking for. So we can say over there A, then we can cross multiply. When we cross multiply, before the number of minutes will be cancelled because they divide one another, then we can say 140 meters multiplied by 4. Let's use our calculator. 140 multiplied by 4, it gives us 560 meters. Then A times 1, it will give us A. In other words, if it's 4 minutes that Trevor has walked, he shall have covered 560 meters. Now let's calculate B. B, we always move from known to unknown. We know that 140 meters will take 1 minute. However, in this case, we have 700 meters. And then we want to determine the time it will take. So it is our B. The meters cancels one another, and then we cross multiply. So 140 times B, it will give us 140 B. Then 700 times 1, it will give us 700 minutes. We need B alone. We divide both sides by 140. These two, they cancel one another. Then B will be equals to, let's check on the calculator, 700 divided by 140. It gives us 5 minutes. So then it means it will take him 5 minutes to travel the distance of 700 meters. Which variable represents the dependent variable? There is our dependent variable. The distance to school in meters. Miss Tladi is an events planner. She has to set up tables to accommodate the guests at the wedding. She uses square tables, which she puts together to form tables of different sizes. One guest can be seated on each open side of the table. The information is presented on the table below. While this one might be a bit tricky, let's make sense of what is being given. So say over here we have a table. So each person will be sitting at one end of the table. So it means if it's one table, 4 guests can sit on that table. However, if there are 2 tables, remember they join them together. Here, it means we no longer have this space. It will then have to be how many people in those 2 tables? It will be 6. So as we join the table, we get a pattern. Is this relationship presented above increasing or decreasing? When you look at the table, all the values are increasing. So we can say there is a relationship of increasing values. Identify the dependent variables. I'm sure by now this one you know it by heart. Identify the dependent variables. Our dependent variable will be the number of guests. Of course, it is the Y values. Derive a formula that can be used to determine the number of guests that can be accommodated on a table. Right. This is what we can say. Number of guests per table will be equals to 2 plus number of guests multiply by 2. That will be the formula that we will use. Ms. Tladi stated that she will be able to accommodate 20 guests if she used 10 tables. Verify using calculations. So we want to check how many people will be accommodated in 10 tables. Remember our formula? N, which represents the number of guests, will be equals to, we said 2 plus number of tables. So I'm just going to say tables multiply by 2. So let's substitute. We will then say 2 plus, we'll then say 2 plus, how many tables do we have? We have 10 tables, and then multiply by 2. So 2 plus 10 multiply by 2. So we're going to say, remember the BODMAS rule, okay? We cannot add before we can multiply due to the BODMAS rule. So we're going to say 10 times 2, which is 20, plus 2. It will give us the total number of 22 guests in 10 tables. So the question, remember, said, verify using the calculations whether her statement is valid. So did we get 20 guests? No, we got 22. What does this tell us? It says his statement is invalid. There's always a mark for this here. So you must always give your verification, validate your verification. Okay, guys, let's go for an ad break. And when we come back, we'll continue with more questions.